tribal center, a wonderful program had been planned, and they wanted us to rush off the buses so that we could go down and see the way that salmon is prepared in the native style. And it was a little hard to get everybody off the buses and down there because they were kind of interested in checking in with their friends and seeing how their trip had been and so forth. But eventually we did get off the buses and get down the steps and see the salmon cooking, and they were just awed by the beauty of that place, you know, at the tip of I guess it's Sequim Bay. And it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining and the leaves had changed color, and it was just really gorgeous. So the Russians were all taking pictures of themselves, mainly against this background of the water and the trees and the totem poles. And we had a wonderful lunch, wonderful salmon lunch, and a program that involved a Native American storyteller, which the translation was not easy, but somehow it was manageable. There were two young women from Sequim who helped with that. They had been adopted from Russian-speaking countries as young teens, and they were just most helpful that day for this program. And after the storytelling, a group of the Native Americans did some drumming and singing and dancing, which of course the Russians loved and really got into, and joined in the dancing and singing. And we heard a little bit about totem poles, and everybody had their picture taken multiple times in that place. And Rocket Transportation took over, and they had donated some driving to this project, for which we were really, really grateful. They took over and took the luggage and took it into Sequim High School, came back and picked up the kids, and we went into Sequim, had dinner, and bingo, there they were doing a concert with the Sequim High School choir, and it was fabulous. Big audience that was very, very supportive, and Stephanie Clark and her choir were just great. They kind of welcomed them in, had a couple quick minutes of rehearsal of the two joint pieces, and away it went. And it was just the first of many, many very successful concerts. And I don't know what the kids were running on, maybe just sheer adrenaline at that point, but it was fine. Rocket Transportation brought us back to Port Townsend. Everybody met their hosts for the first time. The hosts were just really amazing. They were able to just roll with it here because they supposedly had plans for the previous day, and they'd had to put those aside and meet the kids late at night and take them home to a strange house to sleep. And it seemed like it all went well, and everybody had a really good experience. So that was the first day really of the tour. And the second day was Wednesday, and they got up at the crack of dawn and went off to Rotary for a breakfast to which they'd been invited. The 3 local Port Townsend Rotary clubs had joined together for this, and they sang a couple songs. So after the breakfast and the short program at Rotary, the vans picked them up, and they went to Chimacum High School. Well, actually Chimacum Schools, where they did 2 programs, one for the middle school and one for the high school. And this turned out to be the beginning of what their director, Edward Markin, thought was really the most important facet of this tour, and that was the contact with American students in schools, and he called it Russian Music in American Schools. And the first program was for the middle school students, and the second one was for the high school students. And Markin said he was a little bit worried when this auditorium started filling with high school students, because you know how American high school students are. They're kind of boisterous and yelling at each other and high-fiving, and you know, he thought, oh my, are they ever going to settle down and listen? Well, they did. As soon as the Russians started singing, it was quiet, they were attentive, and he really felt that they connected with the American kids, and that was very, very meaningful to him. I had during the middle school concert, I had driven to Squim to pick up some music that had been left there the day before, so I didn't hear any of that concert. But when I got back, at the side door of outside the auditorium, there was a young girl sitting. She was probably 11 or 12 from the middle school at Chimacum, and she was just listening, and it was her lunch period, and she said, oh, I didn't want to go to lunch. I just wanted to hear them. I wanted to hear more. And I thought, wow, I guess that was a really successful first experience in American public schools. So after the concert, some of the American students, I think from the choir or the band, came and collected the Russians, and they went off to have lunch. And at that point, I had other things to attend to, but I think after Chimacum, the Russians went to the Port Townsend Marine Science Center, which had been scheduled for Monday. We now put it in on Wednesday because we didn't want them to miss that experience of an ocean experience, because they don't live anywhere near ocean. So we thought that to go and be able to touch critters in the touch tanks would be a really different kind of experience for them, and I guess it was. My husband was there, and he reported that there were, you know, shrieks and such as they touched the little starfish and anemones and so forth. They played for a while on the beach, and then they went downtown to Elevated Ice Cream, which had very kindly donated an ice cream cone to each of them. And somehow they all decided what kind to have and enjoyed the ice cream cone, and then I think some of them went shopping, and others hopefully went home and rested a bit before the big evening concert in First Presbyterian Church of Port Townsend. And that concert was very well attended. Lots of people came. The concert was opened by Leslie Lewis's group, the Port Townsend Youth Chorus, who sang beautifully. Then the Vladimir group came on and did a fantastic program. And we had planned a little reception afterwards for the host families and the kids. Turned out everybody was really tired, so at that point they went home and hopefully to bed, because the next morning we left on the 8 o'clock ferry for Whidbey Island.